new games and new arenas only on Google Play. Our final quarterfinals match underway. Ismoo and Zerpolita. Stoic can make it a bud. Take it away.
Here we go. Ismoo and Zerpolita going into the first match between the two of them. Pre-bans are going to be coming out here. We can see Ada's getting pre-banned and the Daphnis getting pre-banned as well.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, you see the Ada being pre-banned here, even though Ada is not typically a meta unit at the moment. Then, of course, Zerpolita taking out the Daphnis because he's going with the turn 2 type style comp. But taking out that Sierra, of course, you see the Europeans favoring Sierra a lot. Sierra, a very strong unit here. So I like that line of thinking. And it also disrupts Ismoo's ability and options when he wants to go for turn 1.
I don't know why you guys keep saying that name so funny, but here we go. We've got Ragdoll getting pre-banned, not pre-banned, I'm sorry, Ragdoll being drafted with a Josephine, and of course, Fran Okeano starting off Ismoo's draft. 2 other units looking to respond after seeing a Ragdoll Josephine.
Yeah, I mean, drops down that Ragdoll, and of course, I mean, we just got to go with the latest and greatest pronunciations. So of course, we learn from the best here. So Ismoo, of course, seeing that Zerpolita is lacking a lot of immunity, brings out Barbara and the Ethna here. So like his style of draft, but this is very heavily dependent on banning Ragdoll here. So Ismoo does need to play around whatever's coming out here. And Amelia is a very, very good unit into Ismoo.
Double unicorn with Zerpolita, the Diana and Amelia after seeing the Barbara and the Ethna.
Yeah, so actually Zerpolita's draft's a little weak to AoE control. If Ismoo brought in a really tanky Dover, he would do quite well. Antares is an interesting pick here. I'm not very sure about it in this meta. I mean, Josephine beats it. Sierra does okay into it. This signals that Ismoo is letting that Diana go, obviously. And I think that you probably have to ban out Amelia here and just deal with the Ragdoll.
Well, let's see what the bans are going to be looking like, as Antares does wrap up Ismoo's draft. Obviously going to be a very strong unit with this Diana being left on the field. Curious what the bans are going to be coming out here.
Yeah, curious to see, and also curious to see what Ismoo decides to take out. So Antares being taken out, interesting pick that Zerpolita does not want to deal with the Antares. There's actually not a ton of damage coming out from Ismoo's side if immunity is able to go off, so that could be in favor of Zerpolita in this matchup here.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Antares can be an absolutely devastating unit if it gets enough turns here. I'm happy to see it banned, and we're getting into the first match between Zerpolita and Ismoo. Here we go. We've got first turn with Ismoo with a very quick Okeanos and a 0 willed up Zerpolita.
I was about to say a zero willed team does not believe in will runes, but clearly believes in resist, as Amelia does not get stunned up, and of course believes in violent runes as well as Diana procs as well.
Here we go, getting that additional turn. We're going to see that second scale cycling attack bar, dealing a good amount of damage on top of that Fran. And we have Amelia going to be transforming, getting the cleanse here, and defense buffing up his team.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that Diana transform there because that Diana is going to get cut by an Ethna, but of course with Ragdoll, Diana will move in front of the second unit here. So I'm not exactly sure, but huge and lucky freeze onto that Ethna.
Huge freeze onto that Ethna, saving his Diana from receiving double damage from an Ethna and a Barbara. Barbara trying to pummel in some damage here, and it is built on revenge as well.
Yeah, clearly, as you saw in the opening turns, he's not a believer in will runes, does not need them when he can resist everything. So that Diana is able to revenge there, and right now it's just this Diana is going to do a lot of damage over time here. Zerpolita's in a really good spot.
Yeah, most definitely. Ismoo going for the reset to stop that Diana from doing this amount of damage it has been doing. Stun does sit on top of that Fran. Josephine looking to stun up another unit going after this Ethna.
And actually, Ismoo does have a lot of damage on his side of the field here. Diana is quite squishy, taking a lot more damage than one would normally take. So his window of opportunity is to take out this Diana here. But, you know, we'll see if this Barbara is able to get crits on.
Ooh, Barbara not able to get the strip on that shield, though. We can see the damage with Ragdoll going right after that Fran. No additional turn coming out of Fran as well. Yeah,
and again, this defense break that could be coming out soon. It's just so much tankiness coming out from the side of Zerpolita. This Fran is going to be going down because Josephine and Diana are going to move in front of it. So that's going to be going down. Ismoo's going to be left with no heals on his side of the field. And then once that's over, Zerpolita's going to be just picking units off one by one.
Going for the provoke to keep that Barbara controlled here. Stuns the freeze still sitting on top of Fran. We're going to get a nice second scale possibly coming out from this Ethna. Goes for Shatter. Deals not as much damage as we thought.
Yeah, I would have liked him to see him do more damage onto that Fran here, but it doesn't matter that Diana does get that proc. You've seen it proc over and over again. It's going to do a lot of damage. Could even chip away at something else first and then move on to the Fran.
Yeah, definitely not what Ismoo wanted to see there when he saw that proc coming out of Diana. You can see the damage going right back onto that Ethna, choosing not even to skill 2, looking for that RNG freeze on top of the Okeanos, not receiving it. Ragdoll's going to be finishing off that Fran there. Ethna taking advantage of this Diana. Diana still holding on.
Yeah, that's actually a Nemesis Ethna, so that pushed up in front of Diana there, and if skills were up or it was able to proc, it would be able to take out that Diana, but unfortunately did neither. And this Diana is just so actually able to survive by the skin of its teeth.
By the skin of its teeth, for sure, receiving with a revenge stun on top of that Okeanos as well. Josephine landing that stun on top of Barbara, everything looking so good for Zerpolita.
Yeah, everything looking great for Zerpolita here. I mean, that Diana is going to go down, but he does have Ragdoll and Josephine that's going to be able to sweep up this Ethna. It's still not over. If Barbara's able to do enough damage, Ismoo may be able to come back.
Yeah, Ismoo's going to need some a little bit of violent procs to get back into this one here. Josephine possibly looking to finish off this Ethna and does land that stun as well.
Big miss on that crit there because that means he's going to need an extra hit to go onto that Ethna. So every hit matters here. It's still not over. That Barbara can do a lot of damage.
Yep, was looking for a freeze onto the Barbara, not receiving it there. Possible reset is coming out onto the Josephine. Does not land the reset onto the Josephine.
Does not, but that's a giant proc that's going to take out Josephine with that defense break from skill 2. So this is still anyone's game here. That Ragdoll, Ismoo is looking for an opportunity to snipe this Ragdoll out.
Yep, Ismoo getting a little bit of RNG. Finally, it's a 2-2 right now. Barbara proccing right out of that freeze. Looking to focus down this Ragdoll. Ragdoll taking a ton of damage there. Possibly looking for a stun, but I do believe the Amelia does have skill 2.
I would have preferred him go on the Amelia there because Amelia is very squishy in human form. Unfortunately, does not. This Ragdoll is almost dead, but I don't think Ismoo has another form of burst. Is going to be in an awkward position.
Definitely has to be careful. That is almost in torrent range. Barbara might be able to supply enough damage to finish off that Ragdoll. Ragdoll holding on to that torrent, dropping the Barbara right off the mount.
Yeah, but one hit onto this Ragdoll here is going to push Amelia in front of Barbara. So if he's able to stun that Barbara, it could be a big play for Zerpolita.
It could be a big play. Choosing to go for the freeze. Lands that freeze. No additional turn coming out of Barbara. Is this going to be enough to finish it off? And it is just a lonely Okeanos.
Very lonely Okeanos, and that's not going to be enough for Ismoo to take it over.
Definitely not going to be enough. Zerpolita taking round 1 against Ismoo.
Wow, so that one went back and forth, but it came down to Zerpolita's Amelia resisting off the bat. Actually, if it was on Will, it would have the same effect. But again, it resisted off the bat. He was able to get into human form, and then Ismoo didn't have enough burst to take out a unit of Zerpolita's. That Diana just lasted a little too long.
In that match, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So it came down to that little bit of damage there, and ultimately Zerpolita was able to out-survive his opponent. You saw him shape-shifting a lot just to get heals onto his units. He needed some sort of sustain. Every little bit mattered there, and that Diana was able to handle.
Well, we should be going into round 2 shortly with Zerpolita and Ismoo. Curious if we're going to see more non-willed up units coming from Zerpolita.
Yeah, I know. The whole team not being on Will Runes is something that a good player will take advantage of. So Ganymede becomes extra strong there, as well as Okeanos and any AoE unit. So Zerpolita does hinge a lot on that Amelia, but once those two have matched up, they already know the speeds of each other's drafts at that point. So Ismoo should be taking notes on what got outsped, what did he outspeed, and to know exactly how to outspeed that Amelia or ban it next time and be in a good spot.
Well, here we go, going into round 2 with Ismoo and Zerpolita. You can see the pre-bans from last time, Daphnis getting pre-banned and Ada getting pre-banned.
Yeah, Ada was pre-banned last time, but we're going to see the Ragdoll pre-ban this time. Of course, when your opponent has Ada Rag, you're going to alternate your bans on those two units. Ismoo, of course, being denied that Sierra first pick here, so we'll see what he decides to go with, but Zerpolita is likely going to build that draft around his army.
Ismoo with the first pick. He's going to be taking that Fran away from Zerpolita. Zerpolita looking to respond after seeing a Fran first picked.
Yeah, Fran first pick is a signal for later turn play here. We'll see what Zerpolita goes with. Goes for the Molly off the bat, so we're likely going to see a Tessarian coming out from Ismoo. So this is a signal that Zerpolita definitely wants to play the long game. He is weak to Sierra, but that's exactly why he pre-banned that Sierra.
Yep, Molly out for Zerpolita. I do believe we're going to be seeing that Tessarian. I'm curious if Zerpolita knows the Tessarian's coming through because Ismoo was drafting it before in the prelims.
I mean, everyone in the G3 level does have a Tessarian in his box here. So going with that, Vigor's a very good play into Molly here. Vigor with that speed buff, able to do a lot, and then defense break. And of course, Ethna is always great when your opponent does not have immunity on his side of the field.
Yep, double defense break coming out of Ismoo, definitely going to help him keeping that damage down from Ada and possibly getting that defense break onto the Molly to help capitalize off some massive damage, because we know the sustain with Molly can get a little bit out of control.
Wow, so Zerpolita actually laying down the Icarus here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Mo Long last pick here. And he's going to go for a snipe on a unit. He's going to need enough burst because likely either Icarus or Mo Long are going to be banned. So he's going to need enough follow-up to take over the game here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Fran ban here or Vigor. He's going to need to take out one piece of healing from Ismoo's side and then be able to burst down the other unit.
Okeanos Barbara wrapping up Ismoo's draft here. Let's see if Zerpolita does draft that Mo Long. It would work very well with his comp.
Actually, instead decides to go for the Josephine. So I'm not sure about his draft here. It's not very cohesive. And it doesn't really have enough burst to take out a unit after that Icarus takes out about maybe 60% of a unit's health here. So not exactly a fan of Zerpolita's draft. But again, if Ismoo doesn't have enough burst, say if that Barbara's gone and he's not able to do enough with that Ethna, Ismoo may not have enough to take out a unit either. But again, it's a lot of heals coming out from Ismoo's side.
Well, we've got 4 new units coming out of Zerpolita. We're going to see Will on anybody going into this round 2 with Zerpolita and Ismoo. Bans are coming out. Molly and Fran getting banned out.
Yeah, and Ismoo's looking to just control his opponent. I mean, he's got speed buff, he's got a lot of defense break, and there's no immunity on the side of Zerpolita.
Well, accuracy lead for both players, guys. Here we go. We're getting into round 2 with Zerpolita and Ismoo. So who's going to be taking first turn? I want to say that Okeanos. Here we go. Okeanos is going to be taking first turn, possibly looking for a reset on top of that Icarus. No, going for the Tyrannies.
Wow, and a big miss onto that Tyrannies. Actually, Tyrannies taking quite a bit of damage there, so that Okeanos does do a lot. But again, I mean, there's just not enough immunity on the side of Zerpolita, but that Icarus is going to be able to go off at some point here. So look to see when Zerpolita decides to lay in a lot of damage.
Ada comes out, gets that defense break on top of the Ada. Defense break sitting on top of the Josephine as well, but a Despair Stun is coming out for Barbara and the Ethna.
Yeah, and actually that was a very tanky Josephine. You notice it didn't take very much damage. I think Ismoo's gonna need his anti-crit, but at the same time is deciding whether or not to use it because there is an Icarus on the other side of the field that is not using skills.
Vigor taking advantage of the defense break on top of the Josephine, getting a 3-turn defense break as well. Possible Provoke's gonna be coming out onto the Okeanos. Does confirm that Provoke as well.
That's an absolutely massive Despair Stun going out on the side of Vigor because Vigor's not going to be able to heal up its team and give speed buff. That's a lot of damage coming out from Icarus.
A lot of damage coming out of Icarus, and Tyrannies with a wild blow dropping that Okeanos.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at a trade here. I think this Josephine's going to be going down from this Ethna. Ethna's going to do a lot of damage onto it. But again, Ismoo is down a unit, but does have speed buff. It's going to need to take tempo here.
Yep, really is. Does not drop that Josephine here. Josephine does stand up. Has that shield up as well.
Yeah, it does have shield up a Barbara, huge proc, and it's going to be able to strip that Josephine and do a lot of damage.
Definitely strips that Josephine. I'm not too sure Ismoo's going to have the damage to take advantage of Zerpolita here. You can see that big heal coming out, healing up that Josephine, of course, with the additional turns.
Yeah, and I think Zerpolita is in a really good spot here. He's up 4 units of 3. That Ethna is going to need to stun everything, but unfortunately does not stun very much. That Tyrannies does have revive left, and Icarus does have skill 2 to be able to heal the team soon.
Went for the soul protection on top of that Josephine. Wild blow coming back to that Ethna. Ethna's still going to be alive here. Possibly looking to drop that Josephine and then come back to it later, but no, does go for the Icarus.
Yeah, it does have soul protection up on that Josephine, so Josephine won't be taken out for a while. And that Vigor does not have heals left. And that Icarus does have heals up again with skill 2, so Zerpolita might be able to hang on here with just enough heals.
Just might be. Ethna with that third skill could be dropping. No, chooses to go for that second skill, getting Despair Stuns onto the Josephine and the Ada.
Yeah, so absolutely massive stun on the Arda because Arda would have come back and destroyed that Ethna, but unfortunately for Zerpolita, the Ethna is still alive here and is able to use capture and potentially take out this Josephine.
Potentially, but the Josephine is going to be holding on here. It is going to be stunned up, but the Tyranny is going to be responding with a stun himself onto that Ethna. Wild blow comes in there, smashing that Ethna, removing it from the field.
very good calculation of how much damage the opponent takes out the Ethno wisely instead of dismounting the Barber here. And again, Zerpolita is up 4 units of 3. He is going to lose a unit right now, but that Barber is almost being dismounted.
Yep, that's right. Does get that defense break finally. Drops that Josephine. Ada comes in with that very oppressive Despair Stun on top of Barbara.
Yeah, so many timely Despair Stuns coming out from Arda. At the same time, Icarus does have skill 3 next, so it's going to be able to take out a unit. And Zerpolita looks to be playing well and moving on to the next round too.
Most definitely. You can see the Despair Stuns are coming out all over the place. Barbara, Viga, right back to Barbara once again. Ada just being very oppressive in this round, looking so good for Zerpolita.
Yeah, and Zerpolita actually going for the safe play there, just taking out the Barber. Does not even need to use nuke on the Vigor. Knows that this is his win condition. I mean, Zerpolita has this Ismoo smile. He knows that he kind of got unlucky there with a few of the Arda stuns on his team. So Zerpolita, I mean, looking very strong here. Arda Rag still very much in this game.
Still very much in this game for sure. Vigor still trying to hold on here, even though there's the sustain, there's the revive. Zerpolita's got everything on that team.
Yeah, and Ismoo again enjoying every last minute of SWC, even if he's losing here, smiling as his Vigor is being taken out.
Vigor's gonna be dropping right here to the Icarus. And there you have it, another round 2. 2-0. Zerpolita is gonna be moving forward. Nothing but 2-0s at the whole start of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very, very solid drafts. Of course, obviously with the Bobbles, there's a